This Tuesday is election day. Um, I hope and pray that everybody will exercise their right and do what's right and vote. Um, be careful who you vote for. Um, all politics are local, and we had we had some pushback from some people that are just people in Warren that objected to us having a political sign on our property. But be careful who you vote for. I mean, it makes a big difference. There's really a poor list of candidates all the way around. There's over 40 people running for office in Warren. There's only 7 people that are going to be elected to council, and of course, just one mayor. The setup we have now is we have a mayor, and then we have 7 mini mayors that think they're mayors on council, and so nothing gets done. Everything gets tabled and voted down and whatever. And so this is an important election. Actually, the way it works out on Tuesday will probably be the deciding factor of how the election goes in November. This is the primary, which most people think is unimportant, but the primary is very, very important because this election will determine the outcome of the November election. So I highly recommend you you vote. And my personal preference, I'm not speaking on behalf of the church, but my personal preference is there's only one person that's even close to the person for mayor, and his sign's out in front of our church. And then there's also a number of good Christians that are running for office, and I encourage you to look at that. Of course, those are my personal opinions, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the church, but I am speaking on behalf of the church when I tell you it's your civic duty to vote. Of course, our citizenship ultimately is in heaven, but in the meantime, our citizenship is here. Another issue that I just wanted to address is my wife and I had the opportunity to get away. We thought we were going to get away for 2 days, but it ended up being like a day and a small part of another day. We were going to leave early, and then 15 things came up in the early, which made it late. So we went down to Kentucky to see the Ark. It's a replica of Noah's Ark.
That's cool.
And it was an awesome experience. We walked all 3 floors of the Ark. And if you have the opportunity to go down there, if you have any interest in going down there, we're thinking maybe we could do a church trip, and maybe take a bus down there if everybody has interest, and it would just be fun.
I'm game.
And anyways,
I'll drive.
the man who started the Creation Museum and the Ark, his name is Ken Ham. We sat in on a message that he gave there, and it was just phenomenal. I think that I should just start over and start preaching from Genesis 1 again someday. Because if you don't understand, I've said this from this pulpit before, if you don't understand Genesis, you don't understand anything else. And if you don't understand the first line of the Bible, in the beginning God, if you don't understand that, everything else doesn't make any sense. And so I was so blessed to just see some things and hear some things that delighted my spirit and delighted my soul. 2 people told me on Friday at our food pantry, actually we should have probably just stayed down there for a couple more days and enjoyed ourselves, because it was like whoosh in and whoosh out. we were driving, so anyways, it was fun. But a couple people on Friday said, "Pastor, you should go on a trip more often. You seem so relaxed." And it's like, well, it was kind of like high speed in and high speed out, but it was very enjoyable, a very enjoyable time, even though it was a vacation in a day and a sliver is not a vacation. But it was fun. And I really want to thank Deb for taking my spot in this pulpit on Wednesday. Deb is such a blessing to our church, and I listened to her message on John 15, and that was a great message. If you were here, I'm sure you were blessed. If you didn't hear the
Amen.
message, it's on our YouTube and Facebook page, and I encourage you to listen to the message. Deb, being a teacher, she's much more interactive than I am. I just preach, and she's able to preach and teach and pull it all together and make it all make sense. So we thank you. And if you get a chance, I'm serious, listen to the Word. I mean, the Word is so important. Listen to that particular Word. And then this Saturday, the 12th, Meijer, these are gift donation cards. We have some here at the church, and at Meijer, they have them at their checkouts. Not the self-scan checkouts, but the regular checkouts. But it doesn't matter. You can just pick them up at the checkouts at Meijer. Well, you scan and pay $10, and our church gets $30. And so it's a great deal for us to help stock our food pantry. A lot of people think that all of the food that we give away is free. That is not even close to reality. And matter of fact, I think we right now owe Gleaners like $6,000. And food's not free. We give it out for free, but if food's not free. And so we buy food to bless other people and give it away. And so when I tell you that your gifts and offerings, as some people are super faithful and they support our church, and I thank you for being obedient, and other people, they just think, well, it's somebody else's job. Well, if you're part of the family of faith, it's your job.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
the 4 things I've been teaching about all summer long, unless you were snoozing through all my messages, is we gather, we grow,
Yep.
we give, and we go.
Amen.
And if you're not engaged in all of those, I don't know what you're here for, honestly. It's just that critical and that important. And so this is one small way. Meijer is contributing $30 for every $10 that you put in. So, but it's only on Saturday the 12th. So for those of you that might not make it to Meijer, Sue said that we would collect $10 from people, and we would go on Saturday, and you just scan the barcode, pay they add $10 to your thing. They call it a gift donation card. It's called Simply Give. It's pretty simple. You just scan and pay, and harvest time, and the displays say that we're the benefactor of this. So you'll see the cards with like where their other gift cards are, and it says together we can provide a helping hand for those in need. So $10 turns into $30. Meijer kicks in 20, you kick in 10. It's $30 total for us. And if at all possible, we had a lady who I don't even know who she is, but she contacted me and she says, "Well, Pastor, I want to support your church, but $10 just doesn't seem enough." And I said, "Well, I'm not asking for anything. You support us at any level that you want." And she called me back, and she also posted it on Facebook. She says, "I talked to my family and a couple friends," and she says, we in one day, she says, "I collected $400 for your church." She says, "I'm going to Meijer's and I'm going to spend $400 so that you can have over $1,000 in food." And we literally give out thousands of dollars of food every time we have our pantry. People walk out of here with around 100 pounds or way over 100
Yes.
pounds of food.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's funny because most people that leave here, it's like they get so much food, it's like, I can't carry all this food. Can you help me? And this
Blessings.
this happens week after week. You've been blessed when it's more than you can carry. And I was watching a couple people on I watch a lot of things. I don't comment on them all, but there was a guy with a bike. He had 2 duffel bags that he strapped down to his bike, filled them up, And I told him we'll take some, and I didn't know that he was on a bike at the time. And he's like, I got more than I can handle. And then when I realized he was on a bike, but I mean, he got a huge amount of food and very industrious in terms of how he made it work. But this guy filled up 2 huge bags and a backpack, and then he rode off. And I got pictures of it if you don't believe me. But I just thought it was cool that, a lot of the people that come here have cars. Many of the people that come here don't have cars. They come with wagons and strollers and carts, and it's just a really cool thing. And so, we want to make South Warren a better place.
Yes.
And
Amen.
Amen.
before we get to communion, there's one other thing. We're looking at a couple buildings, and there's some issues with the buildings that we're looking at mortgage-wise and what have you. And so just continue to pray, because this building, we've outgrown this building probably 10 years ago. And this is what we have to work with. But, God has a different plan and a better plan. We have somebody that's going to help us acquire a building, and when we get the right building at the right, with everything lined up, and the stars and the moon and God haven't all lined up yet. So they say some things come by prayer and some things come by prayer and fasting.
Amen.
So I told my
Amen.
wife, well, maybe it's time to start fasting in addition to all the praying we do. But, God's got an awesome plan for our church. God's got an awesome plan for His church, because it's not our church, it's His church. So I want you to know that God has an awesome plan, and this church is going to explode in growth. We already have, we just don't have the footprint yet. Also, pray about Owen Jack across the street.
Yeah.
The current mayor is very attuned. There's a group called Advancing Macomb, and they're trying to get an operating agreement to operate the building without the city, and then that would give us access to the building as well. So that might be part of the plan. I don't know. The city council is against it because the mayor's for it, which is the way it always works. If he likes it, they don't, and vice versa. So if they like it, then he doesn't. So, like I said, we just have dysfunctional government. That's why voting this Tuesday is so critical for our city. So, with all those announcements,